Okay, imagine this for a moment. You're taking this really nice, crisp morning walk. The air is perfect, rain washed, everything clean the night before, smells amazing. You're heading to your favorite bakery, thinking about sweet buns, just this like perfect little moment of calm. But what if, like right under the surface of all that peace, something truly awful, a really deep betrayal was happening right at that exact second? What if someone you trust, like really trust, part of your everyday life, was actually planning your downfall? That's the kind of unsettling world we're diving into today.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we take the sources you send us, notes, journals, research, whatever you've got, and we dig in deep to find the key insights. And today, wow, we have this incredible set. It looks like personal journal entries, maybe some notes. They weave together this honestly fantastical story, but it's mixed with these super relatable human things: trust, betrayal, friendship, endurance. It's quite a mix.
It really is. And our mission today, for you listening, is to try and untangle this really complex web. It's all about deceit, but also about how historical truth can be attacked in ways you might not expect, like really attacked. And ultimately, we want to find that thread of strength, loyalty, love, the things that hold up when everything else is falling apart. We're going to show you how these seemingly totally separate things like magical court politics, nasty internet stuff, even like really tough foot races, how they're all connected. It's kind of mind-blowing, actually.
Absolutely. This journey, it's going to hit some emotional spots for sure. We're going to meet someone who seems like a friend, a mentor even, but they're hiding this just malicious plot. You're going to see history itself being like literally changed, rewritten by a modern day villain who's getting power from somewhere really dark. But through all that chaos, we also find this really profound connection, like a safe harbor, a moment of peace. So yeah, settle in. Let's jump in. Okay, let's start unpacking this. And the sources, they don't really ease us in, do they? This week 11 journal entry, it just hits you immediately, the opening line. None of us knew what Bright Spark was doing behind our backs until it was too late to do anything about it. Wow, that's heavy.
Right. No build-up, just boom, the consequence. It sets this really ominous tone right away. You know something terrible has already happened regarding this Bright Spark character. And then the scene shifts. We're in a bookstore, usually a place of, knowledge, safety maybe, but not here. Brightspark, who we gather is supposed to be a mentor figure to our main character, Rose, he's meeting with someone named Mr. Ellen. And the text makes it clear she's an agent for Queen Titania. This isn't a casual chat. It's tense. It feels like a secret meeting, high stakes, happening right out in the open.
And the purpose of the meeting is just awful. Brightspark lays out his whole plan to Mr. Allen. He's not vague about it either. He says he's deliberately sending Rose, the person he's mentoring, mind you, on these useless and sometimes dangerous training missions. Why? To make her spend her magic fruitlessly, just wear her down, drain her.
Exactly. It's a war of attrition, basically, and the end goal. Yeah. It's chilling. He wants her to die in some book somewhere, and the kicker. He wants it done so that the Queen's hands remain spotlessly clean, plausible deniability, the whole 9 yards. It's incredibly cold-blooded.
He even seems proud of it. He boasts about how clever the plan is, comparing it to something Puck, apparently Mistralen's rival, might do, like, see how devious I am. It really shows you his motivation, doesn't it? He's desperate. Desperate to get back in Queen Titania's good graces. Desperate to return to this undying city he's been banished to.
Utterly desperate and willing to sacrifice Rose, someone who seems to trust him, to get what he wants. He's not just an enemy. He's woven himself into her life, a total manipulator. That makes the betrayal so much worse. It's not a stranger attacking, it's someone from the inside.
And the specific lie he's cooked up against her is just as nasty. He claims Rose, who's a bibliomancer, illegally collaborated with a bard. To make it stick, he tells Mistralen the bard is basically useless, incapable of it, only knows this one bakery song, hasn't written anything else. Total character assassination.
It's a calculated lie, designed to isolate Rose and discredit her judgment. But interestingly, Mistralen doesn't seem to buy it completely. The notes say she's skeptical. She actually plans to go to this place, Tranquility, to check it out herself, which is, well, it's a small crack in his plan, maybe. A little bit of hope.
Maybe, but the immediate danger is still right there. Brightspark tells Mistralen he's sending Rose on her most dangerous trial yet, like right now. He's sending her into a book by an Earth author set in a really dangerous time period, and he actually says, with hope, that she may well be dead by supper, even she can't dodge a bullet. He's actively trying to get her killed today.
Just think about that. Imagine going about your day, trusting your boss, your mentor, and meanwhile, he's literally plotting your death, hoping you won't survive past dinner. The psychological weight of that, if she knew. It's immense. It really drives home how dangerous hidden enemies, the ones close to you, can be.
It's truly terrifying. But then the sources give us this complete contrast, right? We get this glimpse into Rose's morning, and she has no idea, none at all. It sounds so normal, sweet even. She wakes up before the sun, and she and this person, Lou, are just doing things around the apartment. It hints at this really close, cozy relationship.
And that contrast is so important for understanding what's at stake. We see Brightspark dropping by, making his usual friendly, teasing comments about Rose and Lou. Knowing his real plan, those comments suddenly feel incredibly sinister, don't they? But Rose just sighs, tolerates him, shows how normalized his presence is, and even while he's teasing her, she shows his empathy for someone else, Salome, worrying about her having nightmares after a bad couple of years. Rose seems genuinely compassionate.
Yeah, she really does. And then comes the bakery trip. The description is lovely, beautiful sunny day, rain-washed cobblestones, sweet air, just idyllic. They get to the bakery mad, and it's buzzing. Brightspark, being Brightspark, orders like 2 dozen sweet buns just for himself, typical. Rose is more restrained, planning to pace herself. And there's this little detail about Lily the baker maybe gathering magical ingredients because of more magical requests. A nice touch of world building there.
Grounding it in that magical reality. And we also learned about her book club. They're reading Wilkie Collins' The Woman in White. And they're still buzzing about last week's book character, McCracken. It shows her intellectual side, a community, her love for stories. It makes her role as a bibliomancer feel really authentic. This whole picture, her friendships, routines, the bakery, book club, her relationship with Luth, this is the life Brightspark is trying to destroy. It makes his betrayal feel so much more impactful, so personal.
So Rose is living this life completely unaware of the danger hanging over her. She's getting ready for book club, probably still thinking about those sweet buns. And then suddenly, everything shifts. A friend of Paula's shows up. Needs help. Urgent help. The ordinary morning is just gone, replaced by crisis.
And where do they meet to discuss this world-altering problem? A hospital cafeteria.
Yeah.
So mundane, right? It's such a stark contrast, this everyday setting for an extraordinary crisis involving, like, the integrity of history itself. It pulls Rose right out of her personal bubble and into something massive, something that threatens the very idea of truth. Danger popping up where you least expect it.
Exactly. And this is where we meet Celine Blanc. The sources are careful to establish her credentials: historian, master's in feminist studies. She's legit, a serious academic.
And her passion is clear, too. Her whole research mission is finding and highlighting these stories of women throughout history, women who achieved amazing things despite facing discrimination just for being women. She's dedicated to uncovering those marginalized voices, which makes the attack on her work feel even more targeted, more vicious. It's not just academic, it's personal. It's undermining her life's work.
And she tells them about this incredible discovery she made: journals from a madam in 19th century San Francisco, a historical windfall, she calls it. The woman documented in these journals, Sienna, her story is just unbelievable. Lost her family fortune, travels alone across the U.S., which was incredibly dangerous for a woman then. And she ends up making a fortune in some barbaric mining town in California. Just astonishing resilience.
But it goes way beyond money. Sienna imported other women to this town, new city, creating opportunities. She became guild master of the mining guild, unheard of for a woman then or now. She even became chief of a Native American tribe and negotiated against the U.S. government on their behalf. Think about that power, that influence. And later in San Francisco, even without the vote, she's influencing politics through donations, connections. She was a force of nature.
So Celine publishes these journals, backs them up with newspaper articles. It gets good reviews from historians, but it's niche, not a bestseller. But now, here's the unbelievable part. 175 years later, Celine says Sienna's reputation is being shredded online. Okay, awful, but maybe expected these days. But then she says it's somehow affecting the journal itself, the physical, historical document.
Yet that's the mind-bending part. This is a huge aha moment. It's not just online trolls changing opinions. It's literally changing the past. Celine is powerless. She says, I can't enter the text like you and Paula seem able to do. She's terrified someone has gotten inside the book and is actively changing things, hurting people within the narrative. It makes you think, right? If digital lies can actually rewrite historical documents, what does that mean for truth? For memory? It's terrifying, the vulnerability of history itself.
It really is. And Rose, even though she says she's never done anything with nonfiction before, she doesn't hesitate. She immediately agrees to help, speaks volumes about her character. But Paula,
No way is Rose going alone. Paula's like, I'm not letting you go alone when it's my friend you're helping. That loyalty is just fantastic.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they have this little moment of banter, Rose calling Paula as tough as Paula Becker, Paula firing back about being hard-headed. It lightens the mood for a second, but also just underlines how solid their partnership is. They trust each other completely, which is exactly what they'll need going into this. That trust is the total opposite of what they're dealing with from Bright Spark, isn't it?
Absolutely. So they're committed. But jumping into nonfiction, into history, that's new territory. They know it won't be easy. Following Sienna undetected in a 19th century mining town, especially as two women, yeah, that's going to be tricky.
So they come up with a plan. Smart. Jump into the woods nearby, not right into town. Then use their authoring ability to create men's clothes, disguise themselves, pretend they just arrived on the train, blend in. Observe first. It's very tactical.
But then Rose asks this incredibly deep question. What if changing the text also rewrites my memory of what I read? Whoa, okay, that's heavy stuff. If the book changes, does her memory of the original book change too? How would they even know what the truth was?
Exactly. It's a huge philosophical question for you, the listener, to grapple with too. Paula has this theory. Maybe changing the text creates like a second edition. But since Rose read the first edition, maybe her memory holds onto that original version, even if the physical text or the text within the book's reality changes. Think about that instability. History isn't fixed. It can be edited, overwritten. It makes their job way more complicated and, frankly, dangerous. They're not just reading history. They're trying to preserve a reality that might be actively changing around them, even in their own minds.
Okay, mind officially blown. So with that unsettling thought hanging there, they make the jump. Paula quickly outlines the original start of Sienna's story based on the unaltered book. Sienna gets off the train, finds a porter, decides staking a miner is smarter than mining herself. That's the baseline. That's what should happen.
And Rose confirms it initially. She sees Sienna, matches the description from the book, mining gear and all. Okay, they're in the right place at the right time. The original scene is playing out. For now.
Yeah, for now is right. Because it changes almost instantly. Instead of getting a porter, Rose suddenly says, wait, who's that guy? He's stealing her stuff.
Boom. There it is. The first concrete sign of interference. The timeline is already diverging from the original history they know.
And Rose's reaction is really smart. She doesn't just charge in. Her instinct is to follow him. She wants to find out who's behind it, right? Not just stop the thief, but understand the bigger picture. Gather intel before showing her hand.
It shows that investigators' mindset again. And the setting is just grim. Sea of mud. Smells like piss. You really feel the harshness of this place. They track the thief to a shed behind the saloon where he stashes the gear. Then he meets another guy, it looks like the boss, leaning against the saloon wall, the first link in the chain.
Rose decides to act. She authors up some gold coins, clever, need to look like you belong, and heads into the saloon to confront the thief. Paula stays outside, keeping an eye on the boss guy. Good teamwork. But the boss, Nathan Delaney, he steps in front of Rose, tries to intimidate her, offers her a drink.
Yeah, and he's got this really cynical attitude like, mining's for suckers. There are easier ways to make money here. He's clearly running some kind of racket. Rose cuts right through it, though. No messing around. So, a thief or a fence, did someone tell you to rob the woman? Direct hit.
Delaney does not like that. His response is immediate, ugly, and violent. Threatens to assault her, then force her into prostitution. Just vile. Shows you the raw danger of the place.
But Rose, she just freezes him mid-threat, uses her power, stops him cold, which is huge.
All right, explain why that's so huge. Why does the freeze working matter so much here?
Because this is supposed to be nonfiction. Her powers, which come from outside this historical reality, shouldn't work on characters within it, unless the reality itself has been tampered with. The freeze working on Delaney proves Celine was right. Someone is inside the text, actively altering it. It confirms the attack is real and ongoing. So, with Delaney frozen, she turns to the thief, Ratface, offers him booze for info which he can't take, obviously, and he spills. Paid $20 by a guy in a fancy suit to rob Sienna. Never saw him before. And the guy headed towards the hotel.
Okay, so now they have proof, a description, fancy suit, and a location of the hotel. Things are moving fast. Rose handled that incredibly well. Brave, smart, powerful.
Absolutely. It sets up the next phase perfectly. They're no longer just dealing with altered history. They're actively hunting the person doing the altering. The stakes just jumped way up.
Right. So, fancy suit guy, hotel, the plan, stakeout. Rose and Paula will sit in the lobby, have some tea, look casual, and wait for him. Classic move.
But while they wait, Rose has another one of her brilliant ideas. An experiment. She needs to know the limits of her power now. She asks Paula, "Can I try the freeze on you?" Paula agrees. Rose tries.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Paula says, "Nope, not even cold. Completely unaffected." And that's the critical discovery. Rose's powers work on the book's characters, the altered reality, but not on other outsiders like Paula or the suit guy.
Whoa. Okay. So they can identify him now, try the freeze. If it fails, that's him. But they can't actually stop him easily with magic.
Exactly. Rose says it herself. Excellent. That's how we figure out who's doing this, but it also just got a lot more dangerous. Their main weapon is useless against their main target. He's playing by different rules, or rather, the same rules as them. They're suddenly on a much more level and much more dangerous playing field.
That really ups the ante. But Paula, she adapts instantly, remembers some kind of weapon from another book, her Italian bus driver 1, and she just authors up 2 of them.
Quick thinking. Adapting to the new limitations. It shows how they work together, Rose's magic and analysis, Paula's practicality and improvisation. It's a perfect example of using intelligence gathering this freeze experiment to understand the rules and then immediately changing tactics. They know the danger now, and they're preparing for a physical confrontation, potentially.
Just then, Delaney thaws out, apparently, and storms into the lobby. He's furious, confused, demanding answers about being frozen. Rose just shuts him down, uses her hypnotism, her term for it, tells him to get lost or she'll freeze him again, permanently this time. She is not playing.
It shows her confidence, her control. She's handling the minor threats decisively while keeping her focus entirely on the real danger, the suit guy. She's really owning her power here.
Okay, so the tension is sky high. Then Sienna herself comes downstairs, heads into the restaurant. Paula quickly reminds Rose's original plot. Sienna gets attacked here but handles it. But then the altered reality kicks in again. Horrifically, Sienna is dragged across the lobby, a knife at her throat. It's happening again. The villain is actively interfering, making things worse.
And right then, Rose sees him, the guy in the suit. She tries it. The freeze fails. "Paula, that's him," she confirms. "That's the author, the outsider."
And Paula's move. It's just audacious. She walks straight up to this guy, the one orchestrating the violence, flashes a smile and says, "Buy a girl drink, big guy. Violence always makes me thirsty." I mean, the nerve. It's brilliant.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Totally unexpected. It throws him completely off guard. It's not just brave, it's incredibly smart. It creates a distraction, pulls his focus, and perfectly sets up the chance for them to actually confront him, deal with him directly. It showcases Paula's quick wit and sheer guts under pressure. What a team.
Okay, so Paul's got him distracted. Rose gives her a 5-minute head start smart, let Paula lead him away, then she follows them upstairs. And she finds him, well, let's just say not in a state of dignity. Shirtless, pants around his ankles, knocked out on the floor. Paula clearly handled the distraction phase effectively. They quickly tie him to a chair, secure him. Then they look for his writing tools. Pen, quill, nope. How's he doing it?
Paula figures it out. Checks his pockets. I think he's using his phone to author with Rose. And when she looks at the phone, look, his bag's full of this vile, toxic masculinity stuff. Messages. Reveals he's an incel. Part of a Reddit group called Incels Against Wokeness. Yeah. So he's not just some random magical villain. He's motivated by real-world, modern internet hatred. Misogyny.
That connects the dots in a really disturbing way, doesn't it? Modern online toxicity bleeding into the past, literally rewriting history through this hateful lens. And it creates this huge dilemma for them. Rose voices it. What do? Killing him seems extreme, but how else do they stop him? He could just jump to another book and start again. His only loyalty seems to be to his incels buddies.
It forces you, the listener, to really think about it too. What is justice here? He's been manipulated, maybe, but he's also acting out of intense hatred. Can someone like that be stopped without extreme measures?
Yeah.
It's a chilling blend of the fantastical jumping into books and the all-too-real horror of organized online hate movements being weaponized.
Okay, so they've got this incel tied up, powered by hate, using a phone to rewrite history. The situation is dire. Rose, ever the thinker, suggests another experiment.
Right, and she acts fast, jumps them all, him included, to another location. A beautiful little town, looks like tranquility, but isn't. A neutral ground, maybe. First thing she does, whispers to the guy, "Sleep for an hour more," keeps him unconscious. Then she changes his clothes, burns the suit. Symbolically, maybe practically, erasing his connection to his mission, his old identity.
But Paul is worried about accomplices, checks the phone again, nothing definite. Doesn't mean he didn't have one, she says. Still cautious. And when they finally wake him up, his first words are pure defiance. "We are Legion." Oh boy, that suggests a network, doesn't it?
It certainly implies it. Makes the threat feel much bigger than just one guy. And Paula draws a hard line. "Yeah, I told you, Rose, he's too dangerous and he'll never cooperate." which leads Rose to this awful conclusion. I guess we have to kill him. She even adds, we really should kill them all. How do we track them down?
Yeah.
Think about that. The situation is so extreme, the threat feels so pervasive, that even Rose is contemplating mass killing as the only solution. It shows the sheer desperation and the perceived danger level. It really pushes the boundaries of justifiable action, making you question that line between justice and just vengeance or eradication.
But just as they reach that dark point, the guy breaks completely. No, you don't have to kill me. I'll tell you everything. Fear finally overrides the ideology. He backtracks fast, says, none of those guys even know I'm doing this, shows them a draft message proving he was acting alone this time.
And then comes the real confession, the source of his power. He met a demon on Reddit. They were messaging, bonding over hating women. How vile modern women are, he says. The demon saw an opening, promised him power to make them pay. Then, boom, the demon appears a minute later, tells him how to author inside books. The demon even picked the first book, Sienna's story, but told him he could choose targets after that. And his description of the demon: tall, thin, dressed like a drag queen, uses a slur, and then gives the name.
Mistralin.
Mistralin, wait, hold on. Mistralin, the same Mistralin who was meeting with Brightspark at the start. Queen Titania's agent, plotting against Rose in the magical court. Exactly, that's the staggering connection. This high-level magical operative, Mistralin, is playing both sides. She's involved in the court intrigue against Rose, and she's empowering disgruntled humans via the internet to attack history based on misogyny. It reveals this incredibly complex, multi-layered plan. Mistralin isn't just a court agent or just a demon corrupting humans. She's strategically using toxic human impulses, specifically online misogyny, as a tool for some larger, darker purpose connected to the magical world. It ties the seemingly separate threads of Brightspark's betrayal and the attack on Sienna's history together under one incredibly powerful, manipulative entity.
Wow, the scope of that.
It's huge.
So knowing Mistralin is the real power behind this, what do they do with the incel now? He spilled everything.
Rose makes a choice. Not death. Something else. She removes his authoring power permanently, can never be restored, cuts the cord to Mistralin. Then she wipes his memory. Completely. Forgets his old lies, his hate. But she gives him a new backstory, loving parents who passed away. A blank slate, but with a foundation of remembered love, not hate. And she sets him up for a new life in this town. Money in his pocket, instructions to find a job, maybe a partner. Try to enjoy the second chance you've been given.
That's incredibly merciful. Considering what he did, what he represented, she's choosing rehabilitation sort of over punishment, rewriting his story now.
It's a deeply compassionate act.
Right.
Reflects Rose's core nature.
Yeah.
But it's also complex. Is it truly a second chance if his memory is wiped, his identity fundamentally altered by her power? It avoids retribution, aims to break the cycle of hate, but it leaves you thinking about the ethics of that level of intervention, even with good intentions. Does it work? Is it right?
Heavy questions. So they leave him there and jump back to the hospital cafeteria. They tell Celine everything, assure her the attack on her book on Sienna's history is over completely. But when they search online, Mistralin on Reddit, nothing. Zero trace. The demon covers her tracks perfectly. Celine, relieved, agrees to come to Rose's book club, talk about her work, maybe add that Easter egg. A nice, hopeful end to that particular crisis.
But that lack of trace from Mistralin is significant, isn't it? They stopped the immediate problem, the symptom, the incel. But the source, Mistralin, this powerful entity operating across magical courts and human internet forums, she's still out there, untouchable, unseen. What does it mean when power like that can leverage both ancient magic and modern technology, exploit human hatred, and just vanish? It leaves this huge lingering threat hanging in the air. The quiet on Reddit is almost louder than the incel's confession.
Yeah. Definitely unsettling. Okay, so after dealing with that level of intensity, betrayal, historical corruption, demons, incels, the sources shift gears completely. Thank goodness. We move to something much more personal, grounded. Lou's endurance race, the Jack in the Green contest.
And it sounds absolutely brutal. A foot race through forests over 5 mountains and back. That's not just a run, that's an ordeal. The description says you need to be strong, smart, in shape, and ready to take some pain. Understatement of the year, probably. It's a different kind of battle, testing physical and mental limits. Shows Lou's got incredible grit.
And Rose is there, fully committed as Lou's pit crew. She's got water, tons of baked goods, of course, and even portal muffins. How cool is that? She's using her magic to zip between checkpoints, making sure Lou has exactly what she needs right when she needs it. It's such a supportive, loving application of her power. Practical magic for support.
Lu's description of the race itself is intense. Legs and lungs aching, pushing herself harder than ever before, passing the 74-kilometer mark, tackling that near-vertical fifth mountain. You feel the exhaustion, the pain, and then the triumph, finishing first, hours ahead of anyone else. Just pure relief and accomplishment after pushing through so much agony. It's a powerful story of endurance and willpower, and it's such a necessary contrast to all the darkness and betrayal earlier. It grounds us back in something tangible. Physical effort, personal achievement, and that quiet, constant support from Rose.
Incredible achievement. And after Lu basically conquers 5 mountains, Rose has the perfect reward planned. A surprise. She jumps them to an onsen, a Japanese hot spring located inside a light novel, apparently. And she specifically says, "We're not here for the story or the characters. Just pure relaxation." How thoughtful is that?
It's beautiful. And the description, it's just pure sensory bliss. The steam, the bamboo fence, the big pool of water, the ritual bathing first, Rose gently washing Lu, then hours soaking in the hot springs, sipping sake, eating snacks, total unwinding, followed by a magnificent meal. And then, back in their room, Rose massages every inch of Lu's exhausted body, just complete care and tenderness.
And Lu's response, it gets you right here. She's so grateful, so full of love. She says, "The onsen reminds me of our first bath together in Granny's tub. Thank you for taking such good care of me today and every day, Rose. I love you." And then she just passes out. Content, exhausted, completely cared for. It's such a peaceful, intimate ending to that whole ordeal.
It really is the emotional heart of the whole Deep Dives, isn't it? It shows that deep, caring relationships are the real sanctuary. In a world full of bright sparks and mistralens and hidden dangers, these moments of connection, of simple, profound care, that's what sustains you. It's the ultimate answer to all the malice they faced. Love, loyalty, tenderness, that's the real power, the real source of strength and peace.
So let's wrap this up. What have we seen today? We went from Bright Spark's horrifying betrayal, his plot against Rose, to this bizarre, terrifying situation with history being literally rewritten by an incel who got his power from a demon, Mistralin, who turns out to be pulling strings elsewhere, too. We saw truth fight back, quick thinking save the day, and then this beautiful example of love and support offering peace.
Yeah, a few key things stand out. First, just how fragile truth can be. These sources show a world where narratives, history itself, can be actively weaponized and distorted by outside forces, even physically changed. Makes you really question what's real.
Definitely. Second, how pervasive evil, or maybe just malice, can be. It comes from trusted friends like Bright Spark, driven by ambition, but also comes from the strange intersection of ancient demonic power and modern online hate, like with Miss Raylan in the incel. Danger is everywhere, in forms you might not expect.
Right. And third, the absolute power of connection. Paula's fierce loyalty, jumping into danger without hesitation. Rose's tender care for Lu after the race. These bonds, that unwavering support that's presented as the strongest defense, the ultimate comfort against all the chaos and betrayal.
So for you listening, maybe the takeaway is about vigilance. Pay attention to the stories you hear, the sources they come from, question things, and protect the people you care about, the truths you value. Because maybe those quiet moments of peace, like that onsen soak, they don't just happen. They're earned by facing down the darkness together.
And here's a final thought to leave you with. If a being like Mistralin can operate so easily between magical realms and human internet forums, using our own toxic subcultures against us to manipulate history, what other hidden forces, what other seemingly disconnected powers might be subtly shaping our own world's narratives, our own reality right now without us even realizing it? Makes you think, doesn't it?